Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the look ahead to the Newcastle and Leeds game. Really excited to have Chris in the background, who's a Leeds fan, and obviously my co-host Billy, going to be talking all things the Toon. Before we get on to that, though, we'll just do the quick little spiel bit. We're so close. We're 13 away from 500. As soon as I hit 500, I will give away that Bobby Robson limited edition T-shirt. Sealed, never been worn. Great prize to give away. I've had it 10 years. You know, it needs to be on someone's wall as a bit of memorabilia, and I will give it away as soon as I get that extra 13 subscribers. So if you do enjoy the show or you watch it back and do enjoy it, please hit that subscribe button. And then when we get over 1,000, I will give away that. So 2005-6 season, Alan Shearer, Emre, Babiaro, there's some great names on there. Got a certificate of authentication for it as well. It's framed, sitting in a pub back up home, waiting for someone to claim it once I get over 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, please subscribe to the channel because it is growing and it's getting bigger and getting better. So hit that button, guys. I'm going a little bit fuzzy already, so it's a great night already. But this is the look ahead. Boom. Billy, how's it going, mate?
I'm fine, mate. How are you?
I'm very good. Tired. Daddy daycare.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Running around after little, and it was great. Let's bring Chris in, our Leeds fan. Thanks for taking the call, mate, and coming on. How was everything tonight?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you. Yourselves?
Yeah, really good, man. Like I say, a bit tired running after the child all day, but he got his first Newcastle top, or his second Newcastle top. The first one I bought him today. So I've been plastering his pictures all over online and kicking the ball around in the back garden with him. It's been great. I've just given him a life of pain. Yeah, life of pain from now on in.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, my kids have that same issue with Leeds, so it's all right.
Yeah, brilliant. So let's talk about Leeds straight away because you know I work with a lot of Leeds fans. None of them really like doing YouTube, so I had to find someone, and you made the call. But I talk a lot about your style of play with them, and talk about Bielsa a lot with them. There are still a few Leeds fans already now saying maybe it's time for him to go, and it's like it's crazy. The guy can sell a bucket for 35 quid. You know, you can buy them for £2.50 down the road. He's an incredible manager, but is this second season syndrome for Leeds, Chris, or is it just a blip?
No, I think you got to look at the bigger picture. The four teams we've played, 3 of them are currently sat in the top 4. You know, so that's where you got to look at it. Burnley, don't get me, we haven't hit his rhythm yet. I think it will come. It's just a matter of time. Hopefully, it comes tomorrow night against you lot. But it's to go see. If we're looking 10, 15 games in and we're still in this situation, then yeah, people will start saying second season syndrome. But at the moment, I'm not worried too much. Like I say, yeah, we got thumped by scum. You know, Liverpool, we just didn't turn up. You know, we played all right against Everton. It was just, like I say, it's just the results just haven't gone our way, and it's one of them. You know, we've had a difficult start, but we've got a run of 6-7 games now where we hope we should be picking up some points, hopefully.
Yeah, I watched the Burnley Leeds game with a bit of you know, I had a bet on basically. I needed Leeds to win, so I was a bit gutted. But I watched that first half, and there was so many great opportunities for you to score, but you just didn't pick that final pass.
Yeah,
and that's what Newcastle have done poorly this season. When we were at Old Trafford, you know, Willock went through, should have squared it. You got Sean Longstaff running through into the box, he falls over. You know, those sort of things happen when you're at the bottom of the league, don't they?
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, I think because of how well we did last year, I think that some of our fans maybe got a bit ahead of themselves, got a bit giddy and like, oh, let's push on to Europe. But for me, again, it's just about staying up again. For the first few seasons, you'll know when you've come back up and you've dropped back down and you've come back up again. It's all about staying in the league for as long as for the first couple of seasons, then building from there. And I think it's the same with us. We had a fantastic season last season. It surpassed my expectations anyway, and probably most of the fans. So I think with Leeds fans, we can be a fickle bunch. And if we're doing well, we want to be pushing on and moving and getting to the next step. And it's just, it's a long way to go. There's 34 games left, plenty of time. Oh,
it's loads of time. But the other one, another player that splits opinions, I've noticed at work a lot of 50-50s on this one is Patrick Bamford. I said he's a very, very good centre forward. He'll get you 10, 12 goals, which is like gold dust in the Premier League. What's your thoughts on Bamford?
I love him. I'll be honest, when he first came, I didn't think he was the striker we needed. I think because he was a bit of a journeyman one. I know he did well at Borough, but before that, he couldn't really, settle down. I still remember the hat-trick he scored against us for Borough, which I'll never forgive him for that. But yeah, and then in the Championship, he was frustrating. He did seem to miss more chances than he actually put away sometimes. But, last season, he was unbelievable. And, he's an hard-working lad, and he's an honest lad, and he just seems like a proper decent person as well. But yeah, I absolutely love him. As a striker, and I think probably when we signed Rodrigo last season, I think that gave him a kick up the backside he probably needed as well to push on, because you got Spain's number 9 coming in, and he's kept him basically out of playing in his natural position. So and Bielsa loves him as well. So yeah, for me. Yeah, he's quality, and he deserved his England call up for me. I know a lot of fans think he didn't give it, but for me, he did.
Yeah, he fits into the Bielsa system, doesn't he? Working very hard, running around a lot, but he's a very good target man as well as someone who runs into the channels as well. He seems to have it all.
Well, that's the thing. I think a lot of people, when I watched an England game last week when he started, the runs he was making off the ball, and the balls wasn't getting to him. And then when Southgate made that change, I thought he'd have left him on for 15 minutes with Grealish and Mount, but he didn't. He took him off as well. And I genuinely think if he'd have left him on for another 15 minutes with them two, he'd have scored a goal, because that's when were then getting created. But he's like say he's running off the ball. He's unbelievable. He never stops. He literally chases everything down. Any lost cause, he'll be chasing it down, and that's what you want.
Yeah. Owen, you must be devastated watching Bamford tear it up now then, if you've released him and not got anything for him. Being a Forest fan. Oof. Billy, what's your thoughts on Bamford?
I think Southgate missed the trick not picking him for the Euro Championship, to be honest. I think he'd have given us something different up front instead of picking a gazillion right backs. I just felt another centre forward with a bit of pace, a bit of cleverness about him. A good a man to hold the ball up, and obviously a good finisher too. Might have done us some good in the long run. And yeah, I think he missed a trick there, and I felt he deserved his call up. And like Chris says, I felt he really should have got a bit more of a chance last when he played the other week. And yeah, I think he's a very good player, very good player, and a much improved player too. And I think Bielsa must take credit for that. He's a very good striker, and he's really thrived on his chance at Leeds, and looks a hell of a centre forward.
Yeah, he's really come of age, hasn't he? I guess we've got to talk from one good manager to one absolute cabbage now. So, Billy, Steve Bruce, he's not walking away, according to him in the press conference. He's even said he would have liked better players in his squad. He would like to be fighting at the top of the table like we were 20 years ago. So out of touch with the Newcastle fans, because none of us expect that. What we expect is a team that goes out on the pitch and gives 110%, and a club that tries. And we have neither of that. So is Friday night, could it be Bruce's last game if Leeds do turn more over?
I don't believe it will be. Unless he gets a bit of professional pride and walks away. But I think there's 4 million reasons why he won't walk away. And that kind of sums up why he's actually in the job. He's got no professional pride in him. He's in it for the money, and doesn't matter what happens to the club as long as he's getting the money. And doesn't speak like a true fan, does he? Let's be honest. We've always doubted he was a true fan, but Steve Bruce, the manager, is a non-entity. If you look at all the figures, the stats for any manager that's managed the club for over 38 games, he comes bottom of all of them. lowest win percentage ratio, and with that, he plays an absolute negative style of football. He doesn't learn from his mistakes. He plays players out of position. He doesn't make the right substitutions. Time and time again, we may go in at half time with the lead. He talks to them, and then we come out looking like a different side second half and get turned over. So, I mean, Chris says Leeds are maybe having a bit of confidence and they need to get a result, but what's the perfect opposition for someone after a result? It'd be a Steve Bruce managed side, wouldn't it? And that's what they've got tomorrow.
Yeah, if you haven't scored in a few games, who do you want to play against? Newcastle. It always happens. You haven't got a win. Who do you want to play against? Newcastle. There's your win. This is what happens, Chris, with us. As an outsider looking in, what do you make of Steve Bruce? He's been here 2 seasons now. Nothing's improved. We've gone backwards in all our stats. How is he hanging on to his job?
Yeah, to be fair, I've got a couple of mates who are Newcastle fans, and they don't speak a pretty word about him. It's just, to be fair, as a manager, I've never ever rated him wherever he's been. And I know when I still always remember an interview that Steve Evans did before Bielsa got the Leeds job, and he was saying about Steve Bruce should be next lead manager. And I'm like, not a chance. He's for me, he's like I say, his football's negative, and you can even tell in his press conferences he's doing because he's getting angry with the journalists, and he's a man under pressure, massively under pressure, and then his son always has to come out and say something dunny and back him up and everything like that, and it's just it's for me, I think in Newcastle, right, you maybe not won a lot, but back in the days when we were in the Premier League before, you were always top 6 at least and pushing, and when Bobby Robson were manager, and even Keegan and what have you. And that's the sort of Newcastle that I remember when growing up. But now it's not like that. It's like when we played you last season, and it was just completely different of what I expected the type of game to be. Even like I said, when we played you in the Championship, you steamrolled the Championship twice. So that's just from playing different type of football than what Bruce did.
Yeah. We had 2 very good managers in the Championship. Luckily, I know Chris Hughton. Has he lost his job now?
He left today. Yeah.
Which is a shame, because he was such a good manager for us. Maybe again he hasn't moved with the times, and if everything's caught up with him. But also having Rafa, having a Champions League winning manager, he's managed all over the world, Inter Milan, Real Madrid, Liverpool. What more could you ask for?
He's proving it again at Everton as well, isn't he? He started well with Everton.
He's top of the league, isn't he? But on goal difference.
Yeah.
4 teams on 10 points. He's flying, and
those 4 teams who spent the most money. It's certainly not Rafa. He's way bottom of that spending table.
Well, I think I say, exactly. He's quite good with his business sometimes. He's Rafa, isn't he?
He does get it wrong every now and again, but he's got it right at Everton, bringing Townsend in on a free, bringing Damari Gray in for either 1.5 or 2.5 million. I can't remember the figure.
Bargain and a half is Damari Gray.
We were all crying out for him, Steve Bruce to sign him or to get the club to sanction it and do something. But once again, they just sat on the hands and did nothing. Here we go. Bruce is a Championship manager, dragging us to the Championship. I don't even think he's a Championship manager these days. At maybe bottom half of the Championship. He failed to get Villa out of the Championship with the highest squad spend, and people forget about this. Never gets brought up anywhere.
They were near the bottom. They were about 5 from bottom when he got the tin tack, and he'd spent 30-40 million pounds on his team. So
was it the Villa fans who threw the cabbage at him, or was it your fans?
No, it was Villa.
I think that was
Villa.
We don't seem to have the balls to do anything, unfortunately, which really winds me up. But Rafa gets this label of, you only got you out the Championship because you spent all that money. It's like, well, at least he got us out of the Championship and didn't nearly get us relegated like Bruce did with Villa. It's crazy, crazy.
Of course, while Bruce was spending all that money, he was trying to swap Jordan Rhodes for Jack Grealish from
Middlesbrough. At Middlesbrough, it's a great story, isn't it?
A straight swap, Jordan Rhodes for Jack Grealish.
I know. So, Chris, 2 more leads.
Is the case for the defence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, Chris, 2 more standout players in the Leeds squad I want to talk about. Rafinha being one of them. What a creative guy. He just seems to, when he gets the ball, he just likes to run at defenders, doesn't he?
He does. He's last season, obviously, it was gutting not to see him live because he was so good. You know, we haven't had a player like that probably for a long time. And then, you know, to some of the goals and the assists he would have done. I remember when he against Palace at home, he sent Gary Cahill back to Bolton. He absolutely rinsed him down that wing. It was brilliant. But to be fair, this season, he, apart from the Everton game, he's not started the same way. I don't know if it's just because the team's not clicking the same way or what. He's just not got, you know, the same, or maybe because the fans are there. I don't know. Sometimes I do say the fans being there does sort of, you know, does affect it. But yeah, he's not hit the ground running as much as he did last season. Yeah, but I think it will come. You know, he's a quality player, an absolute steal at 17 million. You know, and you can see, you know, potentially, you know, he will probably leave in a couple of years for the Champions League club if we don't push on and push for Europe, which is understandable and expected, I think, in the modern football. You know, he's got no loyalties to Leeds. It's, you know, if it was someone like Calvin Phillips, I'd be a little bit more gutted, I think. But yeah, no, he's an absolute, you know, gem of a player. And when he's on it, he's absolutely on it, and he'll terrify defences and goalkeepers unbelievably. Yeah.
Yeah, that brings us on to the next player you mentioned, Calvin Phillips. What a European Championships he had. Him alongside Declan Rice were fantastic, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely love Calvin. You know, I think if you ask any Leeds fan maybe 5-6 years ago, we'd have probably got rid of him for next to nothing. And that's not necessarily because he was a bad player. He just didn't seem that he wanted to, you know, he was just sort of one of them players who just thought, just came for a kickabout and that was it. But what Bielsa's done to him, and this is why Leeds fans love Bielsa so much, because he's not just changed the style of football, it's the type of players he's changed, like Calvin, Stuart Dallas, these type of players that were bit part players or not really going anywhere. And like I say, you've got Calvin Phillips now, who's, you know, nearly on 20 caps for England and playing in the European Championship final, and just literally doesn't look out of place. He won't look out of place to me in any top European team. And the good thing about Calvin as well, he's so level-headed, he's so down to earth still. He's not let it get to his head. You know, he's still a decent lad who just wants to do, you know, he's just, like he's always said, he's just a quiet lad who just wants to play for his club. And you can't ask him more than that. And he gives everything on that pitch. And he is an absolute hero for Leeds fans at the moment.
Yeah, I wonder if you are going to be able to keep a hold of him and whether his head will turn. I know he's obviously a Leeds local lad and that, but if Liverpool come knocking or someone like that.
Hopefully, like I look at like 2 years ago when we didn't get promoted, when we lost to Derby, and you know Villa had come in for him, and you know I think his Granny Val said a few things to him to make him not go, and you know he's always said he's glad he didn't you know, because Villa did come in, and then you know he signed his new deal, and I think I saw something on Twitter today that apparently Leeds are open talks with him to extend his deal and give him a bit of a bigger deal. So that's for me would be, you know, one of the signings of the season for us. You know, we got obviously Bamford on a new 5-year deal. If we can get Calvin on another new deal, then you know that'd be a great signing for us, and it'd be great for the likes of us for you know, you saw it with Grealish in the summer where a big club came in for him and he left. You know, if we could keep him, if a big club does come in and Calvin would turn around and say, no, I don't want to go, you know, that'd be great for the teams who aren't these big six, you know, the Super Six or whatever you want to call them. I think it'd be absolutely fantastic.
No, I agree, and it's nice to see people stay loyal. Sometimes they do sign big contracts and then help the club get more money as well, though, don't they? So they'll say, look, I want to go, but I'll sign the contract. You get as much as you can. And, you know, so let's see what happens with him. He's a great player. He's great to watch. Billy, what about you? What do you make of Rafinha and Phillips?
I think they're both fantastic players. We'll start with Phillips. I think he'd bless any of the so-called top three clubs. I think Man City will be after a defensive midfielder in the near future. I think Liverpool possibly will, and I think Manchester United certainly will. But I can't see Calvin Phillips doing an Alan Smith and going to Man United.
Or a Cantona.
More so Alan Smith because he was a Leeds lad, wasn't he, and a Leeds supporter.
Yeah, true.
And he took the money, didn't he, and turned his back on Leeds and went to Manchester United, which is a massive enemy of Leeds, isn't he? And aren't they? And yeah, I think at some stage in the next 2 years, I think he probably will leave. But I think he's a great player. He's an absolute fantastic player. I don't know what fuel he puts in himself, but he never stops running. He's a tiger in the tackle. And I was impressed with him when we played Leeds in the Championship, to be fair. I thought he was outstanding. I think Simon Grace was managing then, wasn't he? But yeah, he was he looked a really, really good player, and he's brought that to the Premiership, and he's brought that to the international level. And I mean, how high can he go? I mean, I think the world's really his oyster as far as defensive midfielders go. And he's more than a defensive midfielder, of course. He gets forward as well for England. So he has a brilliant player. Rafinha, all the skill in the world, bags of pace. I think he might have a field day tomorrow against a slow Matt Ritchie. But the thing is with Rafinha, if he doesn't come off, they've got pace to bring on for him now. So a bit of depth in the squad now. So yeah, I think two fantastic players and two players that are a credit to an asset to Leeds and an asset to the Premiership.
Definitely. So trying to look at the Newcastle squad and what the team might be, it's hard to pick any positives, isn't it, Billy? But I guess Miggy is the main one after his performance at Old Trafford, especially the way he got the ball in our own half, turned that defender brilliantly, ran on, took on another one, and then got it to ASM, who slotted in Mankiewicz, and he slotted it home nicely. It was probably the only high positive out of that game, wasn't it? And can Miggy do that week in, week out now? We've seen what he's capable of. He is playing in the wrong position. He's playing deeper than he should be. But can we see that level of performance again?
I think it helped Miggy having Mankiewicz at right wing back instead of Murphy, and therefore giving Miggy more space to run into, giving more areas in the field he likes to go into. And when Murphy's there, it kind of takes that space up. So I think that helped him a bit. Miggy was outstanding at Old Trafford, and to be honest, in practice, so was St Maximin. And of course, they are probably our two best players. And our three best players last week were involved in the goal. Mankiewicz was our third best player, I thought. I mean, St Maximin can damage anyone with his tricks, his final ball, and his choice of final ball sometimes let him down. But I'd like to see Miggy play like he did last Saturday more often. Obviously, more consistency. We had a bit more consistency when Rafa was here, when he was playing him in his top position. But as yet, not really with Bruce. He did had a spell last season where he performed well for a few weeks, but then was moved into a different position again. So, yeah, he's depending on the manager giving him the right space to run into. And I think if he plays in similar positions last week with with Mankiewicz at the right back, and it'd be hard to drop Mankiewicz surely after the performance like that. But I think he might do well tomorrow. But got a lot. I mean, he's the man in our midfield with the energy that you need to match Leeds' midfield. So yeah, he's going to have to turn up tomorrow, Miggy, for sure. Yeah,
definitely. Chris, who do you think Newcastle's danger men are? I mean, there's not many, to be fair, but
to be fair, I think you've mentioned them two there. Obviously, Callum Wilson would have been one, but I know he's injured for you tomorrow, and so that's helps us a little bit, especially with only having one fit centre back, natural centre back tomorrow as well. So having Miguel Almiron's player who I've always thought was a brilliant player. St Maximin, when he's on it again, he's similar to Raf. When he's on it, he's absolutely on it, and then if he's not on it, he can have an absolute stinker. So he's the similar type of player. Not having Callum Wilson is a massive plus for us, I think, because he's an absolute handful. I always liked him as a player, especially when he was at Bournemouth as well. And I think if last season, if you wouldn't have had him, I think you may have been in a lot more trouble than you are.
No, I completely agree. I mean, Wilson and St Maximin really pulled us out of the crap at Burnley, because we were 1-0 down in that game, and if we hadn't pulled that around, I think it would have been a different story. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to look at positives going forward for Newcastle, but there just aren't many, to be fair.
William's got more hours in his legs now. He's got more minutes in his legs. He should come on for those minutes he's had at Old Trafford. If he's fit, that is.
This is it. I mean, he trained. There's one thing with Willock, and I always said it was a danger that he was riding on a crest of a wave when he came in and he started scoring. And I always said, if we sign him, don't expect what he did. If he can get 8-9 goals again over a full season, that would be a great season for him. But there's also a chance that he could flop, because
he came in short minutes, didn't he? He'd only played 40 minutes in pre-season. He looked flat against who did play Villa. He looked flat against Villa. He wasn't much better against Southampton, but he was a bit better last week. And let's hope the more minutes he gets in him, the better he gets. And I don't think he's going to get 8 and 8 anymore, but certainly 8 in the season. I'd be quite happy with that. And I think he could do that too.
Yeah,
So
I hope so. I hope he can prove us all that he was worth that 25 million and blown our full budget on
I
one
think he will
player.
be. Yeah.
It was a risk. Let's just say that, because of the way the deal was done, it was done late as well. It didn't help us at all. Because I always said our first 4 games were very crucial for us because they were winnable. You know, I know Villa have done some good business, but they were a team that needed to gel. Should have beat Southampton. Should have beat West Ham at home, even though they're a good team. You know, we should have been sitting on 9 points in my eyes at this point of the season, or at least 7. But it hasn't worked out like that. And that's because of Bruce and because of the hierarchy. What do you make of our takeover saga, Chris? Because it's obviously on everyone's lips as a Newcastle fan. If you look, Twitter is very explosive. Everyone's fighting with each other. Everyone says nobody knows what's going on. And everyone says, well, we do know what's going on. No one's got the foggiest idea. And the fans are the ones that are getting hurt.
It's been going on forever, hasn't it, your takeover?
15, 16, 17 months.
Yeah, it's, obviously, the Premier League or whoever the authorities didn't obviously ratify was it the Saudis that came in for you originally?
Yeah.
So over that. I think with Mike Ashley, because I always still remember when he originally bought you and he was stood in the stands with your fans with Newcastle shirt on and, being a part of one of the lads, and we're always going to end. Yeah, exactly. We're never going to end well. For me, I've always said an owner should be seen and not heard. And I think with him, he sort of tries to do too much. And I think sometimes now he's completely he's ruined your sort of identity as a club, and he's not bothered. He just wants to sell up when he can, but he'll take an offer when he can, and if he's not in any rush to sort of progress you on. Like I say, you have to look at the way he runs his other businesses to see how he is as an owner. So I think hopefully one day he'll get the takeover. But then again, let's hope it's not by like when Leeds got taken over by some Arabs. We got taken over by the world's poorest Arabs. And, we didn't have a pot to piss in, so it didn't really help us that much. But it took us a long time to get where we are. So, but yeah, for me, it's a saga that I think needs to end. For like you say, if your fans are arguing between each other, and that's it's not what you need, especially when you're back in the stadiums and stuff together now as well. It's it's times like this when because you're a passionate fan base. You're always behind your team. Well, so you need to still be doing that. So if there's things in the background that aren't going to work for you, that's where the issues are going to come in. And like I say, I think you need new board, new manager, and I think you'll be flying after that. But it's just like I say, you've got the everything else there, and like I said before, you want to be top 10, top 6 again, fighting for Europe. Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Leeds deserve to be up there as well with the fan base and what they've had to put up with. So it's good to see us back in the Premier League, to be fair. The one thing I do worry about is this match on Friday night being a late kickoff. It's going to be alcohol fueled. Ashley has apparently been selling home tickets to away fans. I think that is a very dangerous combination. And I've also heard that they don't have enough staff to actually function St James's Park on Friday night either. And they've had to ask the misfits down the road to lend their staff to us on Friday night. What do you make of that, Billy?
It's actually all over, isn't it? It's since he hasn't been able to sell the club, he's just washed his hands of it, and it's everything now is neglect. He's neglected the state of the stadium, the state of the training ground. No investment, no infrastructure, a terrible manager, and this final nail in the coffin is a neglect of fans' health and safety, and taking the Leeds United fans' money to sit in the home end can only end in trouble, can't it? Someone's going to be unhappy somewhere along the line, aren't they? Yeah. So I'm amazed the FA haven't pulled him up on it. I'm amazed the Premier League haven't pulled him up on it. But we know what the Premier League are like where Newcastle's concerned. They tend to sit on their hands and bury their heads in the sand, don't they? So, it's not a good thing. And I'm afraid at some stage there probably will be some trouble tomorrow. Like you say, after a day of drinking, and whichever side scores first, someone's going to celebrate and someone isn't. And what comes of that is chaos and carnage, isn't it? So
Yeah.
Well, it's not showing our club in a good light, and everything that Mike Ashley does doesn't show our club in a good light. And like Chris says, the sooner he's gone, the better.
Yeah, it happened against Liverpool as well, didn't it? There was a few Liverpool fans in the home end, and when they realised there were Liverpool fans jumping up and down, they got kicked out basically.
Yeah, but that was a different kettle of fish because there were Liverpool fans. There are Liverpool fans in the Newcastle area, and of course the Leeds fans too. But Leeds fans actually in Leeds are actually buying tickets, So it doesn't make it's terrible. It's the crowd is dwindling because of the investment he's put into the team and the manager he's got to manage the team. So to compensate himself with these dwindling crowds, he's filling the spots with fans, opposing fans, and it's greed and it's neglect of health and safety. And the FA should throw the book at him if there is trouble tomorrow. Really throw the book at him.
Yep, definitely. What do you think to that, Chris? I mean, would you take the risk buying a home ticket in the home end and wearing a Leeds shirt and jumping around when you win?
I wouldn't, because I'm like I say, I couldn't sit on my hands. I'm quite an animated person when we play and when we score. So there's no way I could do it. But I think a lot of that as well is, because we've been, Leeds, we always have a massive following, and in the Championship, we could take 7,000-8,000 to Blackburn, Preston. So obviously for Leeds fans, we've seen a massive drop in numbers in terms of the Premier League allows it maximum of 3,000 away fans, which is just. So trying to get an away ticket now is near on impossible unless you're like you've been to so many away games and you've got your away season ticket. So Leeds fans, on Twitter are always trying to find a way to go to a game, and I just it's some of that part of the Premier League's problem as well. If it does seem daft if you're not selling your home end, why they couldn't extend the away end out or whatever. Especially because we will sell it, and a lot of clubs will. But yeah, it's like Billy says, it's just a recipe for disaster if there's a mixture of fans in there, and like I say, if we score first, it's there's a fair few Leeds fans in there. It's not going to be a pretty sight, is it? Especially like you say, if they've been on the beer all day as well, it's not going to end nice.
Yeah, you wouldn't mind if it was an afternoon kickoff on a Saturday or something like that, a 12:30 early kickoff. You wouldn't have had too much time to get absolutely levered. But you've got all Friday. There'd be a lot of people who took time off work for this game because it'll be a weekend for the Leeds fans, won't it? They'd be coming up, staying overnight, going out in Newcastle and enjoying themselves. So,
it is bad. I've celebrated in the wrong end on many occasions. I've been in the whole time when Newcastle have scored and celebrated. I've been in the home end at White Hart Lane and celebrated a last-minute winner. and celebrated. Couldn't help myself. I've been at Highfield Road. I've been at loads of places, but it's not. If there's like a couple of thousand Leeds fans in the Gallagate, it's not going to end well, is it?
It's no disrespect to Leeds fans, but there have been trouble with Leeds fans in the past at St James's Park. So that's the only thing I fear of. It's drink related, to be fair, because when you've had that much to drink and you're enjoying yourself, you should be celebrating. It's just, I just fear for any fans in the wrong end, and because it's going to be a hostile place anyway. Because if we lose, we're going to be on Bruce's back. So the anger is going to be there from us as well at the same time, and that's where the fuel comes in. It's going to be, two clashing the Titans basically. So let's hope it doesn't happen. But we just got to be mindful of it, haven't we?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So because we're the home team, Billy, you go first and talk through what you think Steve Bruce will do.
I don't see many changes from last week, but I do see a change in between the sticks. Woodman gifted Manchester United 2 last week. He doesn't command his area well enough, and he has defenders on his toes all the time. A good shouting goalkeeper would clear them right away from him. So I think Carl Darlow will come in despite not having played this season due to COVID. I think he's fit. He'll come in now, and it's probably time for him to come in. Then I see a back three, which really is a back five, but the three centre backs, I think he'll keep Hayden there. I've got Lascelles in there, but I think he actually might drop Lascelles and play Fernandez. Thinking about it, and Kieran Clark, I think, will keep his place. Matt Ritchie will keep his place, I think, even though I think he shouldn't. I think Lewis should play, but I think he'll play Ritchie. And Manquillo surely can't be dropped after his performance last week, where he kept Greenwood quiet and managed to get up the other end of the field and score too. Middle of the park, I see the same. Willock, Longstaff, and Almiron. They performed okay last week. I thought Longstaff and Almiron especially were very good. So Maximan, of course, is our box of tricks. He's our creative genius, and he's the man that, if we are going to score, will be the catalyst to all that. And I think he'll pick the £40 million man, Joe Linton, up front. Couldn't hit a cow's arse with a banjo, but I think he's the man to up front.
See, for me, I mean, he played St Maximum as a lone striker, didn't he? Is there not a shout out for him doing that role again?
Yeah, could be. He kind of swapped and changed, didn't he? I mean, Joe Linton did drop into that area a few times. He had that opportunity in the second half where actually did quite well and made De Gea make a save, although it was straight at him, as he just won't. But yeah, they might swap an interchange. But I think with Leeds only having the one centre half and potentially Luke Ayling playing at centre half, I think that there is an actual core to play two forwards and maybe go to 4-4-2, and go that way. But Bruce won't do that. Bruce is Bruce, and one system, and that's it. 5-3-2. He called it 3-5-2, but in actual fact, it's 5-3-2, and that's the way he plays, and that's it, and that's the be all and end all. That's all Bruce's way, and that's his way.
Yeah, I mean Hayden as well. What a waste that's centre back.
Absolutely, yeah, I agree. I mean, all you got to do is push him out to midfield, play with a 4-4-2. Yeah. As I say, Leeds are struggling with one available centre half, one ridiculously suspended for an absolute ridiculous not rescinding this red card last week.
They not rescinded it? No. Nope. Terrible.
Nope. Absolutely pathetic. Had that been Harry Maguire, then not only would they rescind it, they'd probably award Man United the points. That's another story. But yeah, I'd go with a 4-4-2 personally, or a 4-3-3, and attack lead. Steve Bruce attack don't go in the same sentence, do they? And I think that's what we'll see tomorrow.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. So, Chris, it's a good point there. I mean, what did you make of the red card? Because I mean, we've all said it wasn't a red card.
It's an absolute shambles of the decision. Like I say, even Harvey Elliott's come out, and I think he's held himself really well in all of this, saying now, it wasn't a bad tackle; it was just a freak accident. And like I say, obviously, I were at the game. The game continued. The referee played on, and then it was only when Mo Salah was, rightly so, because he was badly injured, he was waving about, where the ref then pulled it back, and there was, there was no malice in it. And I think obviously Klopp coming on the pitch and giving it the big and didn't help Pascal at all. And you can even, for me, it was a fantastic tackle. He got the ball, he came away with the ball. There was no malice in it. It literally Harvey Elliott's foot as he slipped, and his foot and Pascal's knees gone on the back of his ankle, and that's it. It was just a freak accident. And you watch the video back after of when he's getting sent off, and Leeds players alike, and even Luke Ayling says you didn't even blow for a foul, and even Divock Origi's even saying to the referee, "Oh no, come on, mate, you don't need giving it." Even he looks surprised that it's been given as a red card. It's just, and then they've come out today.
On the commentary, Martin Tyler actually said, "We've heard that Craig Pawson said he was going to send him off when played."
What he
ended that, but he weren't. He played on, and there's no advantage in Liverpool. So. But more telling than that was 10 minutes later, Liam Cooper did exactly the same tackle on Sadio Mane, didn't even do a free kick.
Nothing.
Yeah,
and the same happened on Monday with the Burnley Everton game. Same happened on Monday with the Burnley Everton game. Didn't even get a yellow card. But for me, to be fair, Parsons is a terrible referee anyway, and he was probably one of the worst refereeing performances I've seen. And it was a shocking decision. I'm still, like I say, I can't understand why they're not giving it. And then they've come out with this today saying, or was it today or yesterday when it didn't get rescinded, saying that it was a panel of three ex-players. Two of them had said it was a reckless challenge, endangered him. But the thing is, if he wouldn't have hurt his ankle, it would have nothing have happened.
Nothing would have happened.
And they're sending him off on consequence, and it's ridiculous.
It's the same happened with Son last year. Was it last year with Gomez when he broke his leg? Was it?
Yeah.
But he's actually got rescinded, and it's just
it did.
The game's going soft as it is, and it's a horrible injury for him, and I feel for the lad, but it's not a foul. These fouls.
Spurs are the big six, aren't they? That's the difference.
Yeah. That's what I mean. You said, if it would have been, if it had been Virgil van Dijk on the other end tackling Paddy Bamford, it'd been a completely different story, I believe. But you know, I'm not one of them to be, victim FC and it's all against us, us against the world. I can't be bothered with stuff like, I've seen Leeds fans on Twitter going mental and putting hashtag free Pascal. I'm like, he's got a 3-match ban, he's not held up in a prison. You know what I mean? It's like, let's just calm it down a bit. It's, he's given the ban now. We're going to have to deal with it. We know what the referees are like in this division. I've waited so long to get back into the Premier League, and I'm back in it, and I'm like with VAR and everything, and it's like sometimes you sat there thinking, is it actually worth it?
Because VAR compounds it, doesn't it? I mean, they're supposed to sort of stop these mistakes, but they never do they?
No. Well, the thing is,
VAR
have come out apparently said that there was no obvious error. But what was the obvious error? That he didn't give a foul or that he shouldn't give a red card? But there's no clarity. Nobody knows what the non-obvious error was. And then Leeds have obviously, in their report, have said about how the way Jurgen Klopp acted, and the FA have completely just dismissed that. So it's like you've got, you can't. So there's no point. You like to say you've got these. It's like you look at the Big Six thing that happened last year with the breakaway, and they got 20 million fine between all 6 of them.
Yeah,
there's exactly, and this QPR got 40 million.
They set that punishment. That was
exactly.
They had to set their own punishment, which is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Exactly what QPR got 40 million fine a few years ago for financial fair play, and it's like, hang on a minute, these were threatening to break away from a. So it's just, the powers in them basically. But yeah, it's crazy, but it is what it is. We've got to deal with it tomorrow and for the next 2 games after that, and luckily one of them's a cup match, so it's not, yeah.
Still stinks.
Yeah, it does, but, we could sit here and cry about it all night. There's no point going on about it, is there?
Well, we've been crying about corruption for the last 6 months, so nothing's been done about it. So
yeah,
but there's your team, Chris, that you picked. I put it in a nice little picture for you. Do you want to talk me through it?
Yeah, so like I say, Bielsa's not one to tinker with his team too much if he doesn't have to. Obviously, Cox injured, Llorente's injured, Strauch's obviously suspended. So the only fit senior one we've got is Cooper. Obviously, so he'll be at the back. There's seen a few people on Twitter trying to say, give Charlie Creswell a chance. Which again, but he's a young lad, so throwing him in at the deep end, I think he's only played one senior game before. So, it's not probably something you want to do. Like I say, Ayling's played there plenty of times. Like I say, I think he'll play them 2 in the centre backs. Dallas, I think he'll move to right back, or alternatively it may be Shackleton. But I think Dallas will probably go there with Firpo at left. Again, Firpo he's started okay. I think he's jury's still out on him a bit, but like I say, he's only played 4 games, so I think there's plenty of time for him to find his feet. Obviously, Phillips will, be the mainstay in the midfield. We probably click just above him, or if he does decide to go to Shackleton to right back, I think like Dallas will play in that position. Click's been out because of COVID, but we do seem to tick a little bit better with Click in there. Again, another area I think we do struggle with centre midfield. I think we missed a trick not signing a new centre midfielder in the summer. If we lose Phillips, we're in big trouble. I think Radrizzani came out and said, we've got Forshaw back after he'd been out for 2 years with a hip injury, and since then he's been injured 3 times. So it don't give us any sort of any backup really. I know we've got a couple of youngsters that could possibly play there. But then, we've got Rodrigo, again, number 10 position. It's not his natural position. I do feel for him. He's a number 9. But he's not going to be able to get Paddy out of there unless Paddy gets injured or Paddy's in a terrible vein of form. When he plays at number 9, he was brilliant the last season when we played Burnley. He came on, he scored 2 goals in 10 minutes at number 9. He were absolutely quality for us up there. It's just he's not going to take Bamford out of that position. So I do feel for him a bit. People saying he's a waste of money. He's just not played in his natural position. So I don't know if that experiment's going to keep going on for much longer, but I'd rather have him in there than Tyler Roberts personally. And then obviously you got Harrison and Raf on the wings, who for me are 2 of the best wingers. We could possibly have Harrison's first touch is like a cushion. It's just unbelievable. And then like you say, Rafi can scare any defence when he needs to. So if them 2 are on form, if they can get the balls into Bamford, hopefully we'll be on another 5+ victory again.
Is that all?
You never know. You never.
Do you know what? I'll just take any win tomorrow just to get the first 3 points on the board. I'm not bothered how we do it. If it's a 1-0 or a 6-0, I'm not bothered. It's just, like I say, I think it's the same for you guys as well. It's just getting that first win. It takes the pressure off a little bit because, like I've said, we've got, a fan base like yourselves. If things aren't going too well, they can get a little bit heated, a little bit ropey, and a little bit, nervous and start to get a little bit vocal. So, yeah, I think getting that first win is just going to be massive for us, and hopefully that'll come tomorrow. Just so I can get a lot of stick off my mates as well.
Well, I'm going to get a lot of stick at work as well if we don't win.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's one of those ones, isn't it? But that's almost the end of the show. There's just 2 more questions to get through. The first one is, what is the score going to be, Chris? Put your neck on the line.
I'm going to go 2-1 Leeds.
2-1.
Yeah, just because we can't defend very well at the moment. I think you will get. I
was expecting 4-1, 5-1. To be fair,
no, like I say, I just think because I like to say how we're playing at the moment. I think there's still going to be quite a lot of nerves in our team, so I think it will be quite a nervy game. But I do think we will get the win. I do think it'll be close. So yeah, I'm going for 2-1.
Billy,
I think it'll be a really high scoring draw. I'm going to go for 3-3.
Really? Who's scoring 3 goals for Newcastle? I'm curious.
It won't be Joe Linton.
2 on goals.
I don't think Leeds defend set pieces very well. I think the keeper has the potential to be quite weak. Melier, I'm not set on him. So maybe a set piece goal from a corner. I think St. Maximin may score, and I think Almiron might score.
Interesting. That really is, because personally myself, I'd take a 1-1 now because I just don't think we're going to win. But if it means Bruce getting the sack, I'd lose. I'd lose any day of the week.
If I thought Bruce getting a sack, I'd take a 10-0 defeat, honestly.
If that's what it takes, we'll take it. The last question, Chris, where do you expect Leeds to finish?
Honestly, it's difficult. I think we'll finish probably between 10th and 15th. I don't think we'll better last season or be that high up. But again, as I said earlier, for me, it's just about staying up. I don't want to be staying up and sort of dragged into a relegation battle because, I don't think my nerves and 35,000 Leeds fans in Ellen Road's nerves could take it. But for me, 15th to 10th, I'd be happy with, as long as, I think there is at least 3 teams worse off than us. Definitely worse than us. So I think we'll be safe. But yeah, like I say, 15th to 10th, I'll be absolutely delighted with you again.
Yeah, I think you've got a good chance of doing that. Billy, are we doomed? No,
not yet. I think we'll finish. It's kind of going down week by week. It started off at 13th, then it went to 14th, but I think 16th, 15th, 16th. But things have got to start improving quick, and things have got to start improving from the defensive end of the game. I think having Darlow in might help us for a few weeks. Dubravka seems to be on his way back quicker than what we thought. Then he's going to be out on the grass next week training. So, yeah, I think 15th, 16th, but not a lot to look forward to, really, is it? A relegation battle with 5 or 6 other clubs, and it's perennial now, isn't it? So we're kind of used to it. But it's not really what Football League's all about, Premier League. Shouldn't be anyway.
Just a little bit of news before we go. So apparently someone's tweeted, NUFC box office have cancelled our NUFC Leeds tickets 7 days after we bought them. As we now have a Leeds postcode, box office will not discuss on the phone. Even when we explained, we are barred. Could not get into our old NUFC accounts. It's sad being a Toon fan. So maybe they are trying to stop Leeds fans buying home tickets. After all.
Yeah, I mean, he's a Newcastle fan living in Leeds, isn't he? And
exactly. It'd be like me trying to buy one in York, wouldn't it?
Surely you must have history of buying tickets before that they can kind of point to and say, well, look, I was here at this game, I was here at this game.
You would have thought so, wouldn't you? But they don't have that kind of sense at Newcastle United, do they?
No, this is true.
Yeah, it's one of those things. But Chris, thank you very much for coming on. I sort of wish you all the best tomorrow if it means Bruce loses his job. But if it doesn't mean loses his job, I hope you get beat. But if it helps put the nail in the coffin, then I hope we do get beat.
No, thanks very much for having us, guys. And like I say, I would say best of luck tomorrow, but obviously I don't want you to have any luck at all. So we'll see you.
I wish you the best of luck for the season, Chris. I wish you the best luck for the season.
Same for you. Yeah, and you would like to say, hopefully this takeover and everything gets sorted for you, and you can finally get rid of Bruce as well.
Fingers crossed, mate. I'm
Fingers
just going to pop
crossed,
you
yeah.
both in the background, and I'll be 1 minute, and we'll have a quick little chat again.
All right, mate.
So that's the look ahead done to the Newcastle Leeds game. Great fan, Chris, there. It's nice to find a knowledgeable, sensible Leeds fan because there's not many of them around, especially the ones I work with. So, and of course, Billy, as always, chuntering on as he does. It's been a great show, great laugh. Remember, guys, smash that subscribe button like you want to smash Bruce's faces in. And as soon as I get to 500, I will give away that Bobby Robson t-shirt. But from now, from myself, enjoy the match tomorrow. I will be back with a watch along to watch the game. So if you want an alternative commentary on the game, please tune in. But till then, see you later, guys.